I'm Mary, and I'm a master gardener from McKean County. Do you have a favorite flower? My favorite flower seems to vary every day depending on what's in bloom. This week in my garden, this really neat plant called a shooting star is in bloom. Here's a close-up of the flower. You can see that it looks a little bit like a falling star. Shooting star flowers are buzz pollinated, and that means that they require a particular frequency of buzz from an insect to release the pollen from the structure in the flower that holds the pollen. Can you guess what insect pollinates shooting stars? If you guessed a bumblebee, you are exactly right. Bumblebees vibrate at exactly the right frequency to shake the pollen out of the anther sacs. I've always wanted to try using a tuning fork shown here to see if I could mimic the bumblebee and get the pollen to vibrate out of the flower. Tuning forks are used by musicians, and they play a particular pitch. They allow the musician to make sure their instrument is in tune. In a moment, you're going to hear me hit the tuning fork against a piece of wood, and you might be able to hear the pitch come off of that tuning fork. And I'm going to touch the tuning fork to the flower, and hopefully you'll see the pollen puff out of the flower as that vibration shakes the pollen out of the flower. Oh, wow, that was so neat. Thank you so much for joining me and giving me a chance to try that out. I have always wanted to try using a tuning fork to shake pollen out of the shooting star flower. Buzz pollination is not super common in flowering plants. There's only a subset of plants that actually require buzz pollination. In most plants, it's sufficient just for the bee to brush against the stamen or anther. The stamen or anther just cracks open to let that pollen out, and it doesn't require a buzz. But there are some plants like the shooting star and some more familiar plants like tomatoes and relatives of tomatoes, for which pollination will be more effective if there is a bumblebee that vibrates that pollen out of the stamens in addition to the physical contact between the bee and the stamens. Well, thank you again. That's the information I have today on buzz pollination.